Can you describe what the torso looked like?
I don't know how to describe it.
April 1st, 2024, 9:16 a.m. A CCTV camera underneath a restaurant called Pizza Shuttle on North Farwell Avenue, Milwaukee, captures a blue Honda Civic pulling into the ground-level parking structure. The tail lights are shaped like the letter C. You can see them when they light up. A young woman gets out, black puffer jacket, white cable knit sweater underneath, blue jeans with cuts near the knees, white tennis shoes. She's carrying a large purse. She walks out toward Farwell Avenue, climbs the stairs, and heads into work. Her name is Sade Robinson. She's 19 years old, full-time student at a local technical college. This is one of her 2 jobs. She's set to graduate next month with an associate's degree in criminal justice. She's been meeting with Air Force recruiters. She bought her own car. She rents her own apartment on Commerce Street. She pays her bills months in advance. She is everything you'd want your kid to be at 19. Her shift starts, and it's a normal Monday. Her former boss, Mark Gold, would later describe her the way everyone who knew her did. Everybody loved her immediately. Every time he'd say, "What's up, Sade?" she'd go, "The sky, Mark." Every single time. At 4:57 p.m., the same parking structure camera picks up Sade sitting in her car. A coworker walks over, they chat for a minute. Just after 5, her taillights come on. She backs out. The coworker waves goodbye. Sade Robinson has just left her last shift alive. And now the date begins. Before we continue, like we always do, quick shout out to our subscriber of the day, Fezika Hadebe 2387. You opened the file, you stayed. You do not know how important that is. Drop a comment, type today's subscriber if you want a shout out from us. 5:09 p.m. A surveillance camera at the Twisted Fisherman restaurant, 1200 West Canal Drive, Milwaukee, down in the Miller Valley near the Potawatomi Casino, captures a man walking in from the west side. He's alone. Black Carhartt t-shirt, red flannel over it, blue jeans, hair pulled back in a bun. His name is Maxwell Anderson. He's 33 years old. He sits down at the bar next to an employee named Brian Culvert. They appear to know each other. Anderson orders a beer. Culvert is friendly with him, very friendly, calls him by his first name. 5:20 p.m., a different camera catches Sade Robinson walking into the Twisted Fisherman from the east side. She's still wearing the same outfit from work, black puffer jacket, white sweater, ripped jeans, white shoes, black bag in her left hand. By 5:21, the interior camera shows them seated side by side at the bar. Now, here's what the detective noticed when she reviewed this footage. He does a lot of talking to the bartender. He doesn't do a lot of talking to her. He doesn't turn and look at her much. For a date, it's odd. There's not a lot of interaction. But they eat. Both of them order food. He has 2 beers, she has 1 drink. At 5:44, the bartender pours a round of shots. You can hear him say, "Cheers." All 3 of them drink together. At 5:48, Anderson briefly steps away, possibly the restroom. Sade has casual conversation with the bartender. Around 6, the bartender clears their plates. Anderson gets another beer. Then the bartender goes to get their check. And then this happens. The bartender puts down 2 more shot glasses, one in front of Anderson, one in front of Sade. She makes a motion with her right hand. She's declining. She doesn't want it. The bartender physically picks up her shot glass and slides it in front of Anderson. Anderson does both. Think about that for a second. She said no. That's important later. A few minutes after that, the bartender makes another round, some kind of mixed shot. This time, all 3 of them drink it together. That's 2 shots for Sade, 3 for Anderson. At 5:47 p.m., they get up to leave. They say bye to the bartender. They exit together through the east entrance. 6:24 p.m., the Twisted Fisherman's exit camera captures them walking out, turning the corner of the building. A separate camera from the nearby We Energies facility picks them up walking westward along the front of the restaurant, heading for the west side parking lot. A different We Energies angle shows what happens next. You can see them approaching Sade's car. You can see them both get in. Sade is driving. She's driving her own car with a man she barely knows to a second location. That's the last time anyone other than Maxwell Anderson sees Sade Robinson on her feet and moving under her own power. And this is the part most people get wrong. They ask, what happened on that date? The real question is, what happened in the 3 hours after it? Here's where the cameras and the data take over. According to Sade's Life 360 app, and this is going to become the single most important piece of technology in this entire investigation, after leaving the Twisted Fisherman, Sade drove them both to a bar called Duke's on Water. Investigators recovered surveillance footage from Duke's showing Sade and Anderson arriving together. They stayed until about 9 p.m. They played beer pong with another couple. Detective Donner noticed something when she reviewed this footage. This is the only time during the entire evening where Sade actually looks like she's having fun. She's smiling. She's enjoying herself. At 9 p.m., they leave together. The camera shows Sade walking fine. She doesn't appear impaired. There's almost no physical contact between them the entire night. Until the very end, when he reaches over briefly. That's it. They get back in her car, Sade driving. Life 360 shows Sade's phone arriving at Maxwell Anderson's house, 3161 South 39th Street, at approximately 9:30 p.m. A neighbor's security camera picks up what appears to be two figures arriving at the house. They go inside. A second-floor light turns on. Through the upstairs window, you can see moving shadows. They're in the house for roughly 3 hours. Now, at approximately 12:45 a.m., going into April 2nd, something changes. Life 360 shows Sade's phone leaving Anderson's house. Her car begins moving. It starts heading toward her apartment on Commerce Street. But it doesn't stop there. It drives past, and then it just keeps going. Multiple surveillance cameras across Milwaukee capture the Honda Civic over the next 2 hours. The windows are fogged up. The car is going all over the place. No pattern, no destination, no rhyme or reason. Detective Donner reviewed the neighbor's camera footage from Anderson's house. She could only see one person leaving, and she noted that person was roughly the same height as the 6-foot fence and gate at the property. Sade Robinson was not 6 feet tall. 2:53 a.m., Life 360 shows Sade's phone arriving at Warnimont Park. Now remember, this is a rocky, wooded, isolated stretch of Lake Michigan shoreline, not somewhere you find people at 3 in the morning. A security camera from a nearby building captures what comes next. It's grainy, but you can see a figure, possibly male, dragging something down toward the lake. The figure disappears off camera. Roughly 90 minutes later, the same figure walks back into frame, but now they're carrying something they didn't have before, a large backpack on their back. The figure walks away from the lake and doesn't come back. At 4:35 a.m., Sade Robinson's phone battery dies at Warnimont Park. Her Life 360 location freezes there. That phone will never move again. The same morning, Officer Derek Kolb of the Milwaukee Police Department is working day shift, 8 a.m. to 4 p.m., assigned to District 3. He and his partner are dispatched to 2928 West Lisbon Avenue for a vehicle fire. When they arrive, the Milwaukee Fire Department has already extinguished it. The captain on scene gives them a debrief. It's a blue Honda Civic, engulfed in flames when the fire department arrived, parked behind an abandoned building in an alley off North 30th Street. The area is a known dumping ground, lots of trash. The building has since been torn down. Kolb inspects the vehicle. The interior is completely destroyed. The trunk is ajar. But the exterior, mostly fine. The engine compartment looks almost untouched. The fire investigator noted the passenger side smelled heavily of a petroleum distillant. This wasn't an accident. This was arson. Kolb checked the VIN number off the door panel. The one on the windshield was destroyed by fire. He runs it through the Department of Transportation database. The car is registered to Sade Robinson. The VIN matches the plates. This is her car, and it's been gutted by a fire that someone set on purpose. But here's what's still inside. Under the driver's seat, Sade's purse. In the trunk, her pants, her underwear, her jacket, her shoes. The jeans were turned inside out. The underwear was still attached to them. Somebody else took those clothes off her. And the driver's seat? It was pushed all the way back. Investigators went to a dealership, found an identical 2020 Honda Civic, set the seat to the same position. They had a deputy who was Sade's height sit in it. She couldn't reach the pedals. Her arms were straight out. There was no way Sade was the last person in that driver's seat. The last person to drive her car was at least 6 feet tall. Officer Kolb canvassed the neighborhood. Not a single person saw anything. No camera footage from the surrounding homes. Nothing. But just 2 blocks away, at the 31st and Galena playground, investigators would later find Sade's left leg. He burned her car, he dumped her leg at a children's playground, and then he walked away.
And this is the part that makes people lose it. Surveillance footage captures a man walking away from the scene of the burning vehicle. A bystander actually calls out to him. He doesn't stop. He walks to a bus stop. He gets on a Milwaukee County transit bus. And now, for the first time in this entire investigation, you can see his face clearly. It's Maxwell Anderson. He's carrying a large backpack, the same kind of large backpack the beach camera caught leaving Warnimont Park hours earlier. He's wearing gray pants and a gray jacket. Those pants, those shoes, that backpack, never recovered. The jacket was eventually found in a garbage can 2 houses down from his own home. When they tested it, Sade Robinson's DNA was on the inside of the hood and on the zipper pull. He gets off the bus. He goes home. He goes to work that day at a bar called Dugout 54. He just went to work like it was a Tuesday, because it was. That evening, April 2nd, Sade's right leg is found on the shores of Warnimont Park. Shortly after, she's reported missing to police. For the next several days, as her family and friends are searching, posting, hoping, more remains surface. Volunteers find a blanket that belonged to Sade in a wooded area, a human bone near train tracks. Days later, her torso washes ashore in South Milwaukee, badly decomposed. He had cut off both of her legs, one of her arms, one of her breasts, and her head. Her head has never been found. Here's where it falls apart for Maxwell Anderson. A woman named Chloe Wright steps forward. She dated Anderson for over a year. She says he was never physically abusive, but he was verbally abusive. Comments about her body weight, telling her she wasn't attractive. Her word for the relationship, toxic. But here's the thing Chloe told investigators that cracked this case open. Anderson had a place he called his secret beach. He was obsessive about it. When he finally took Chloe there, he wouldn't let her see the route. He gave her step-by-step directions only. He didn't want her to know the name of the location in case they broke up. He didn't want her bringing other people to his spot. But she remembered how to get there. Police asked her to lead them. She repeated the same directions Anderson had always given her, and she drove them straight to Warnimont Park, his secret beach, the place where he dismembered Sade Robinson. That wasn't a random dump site. That was his place. He knew every path, every angle. He'd been going there for years. And one more thing about Chloe. A year after they broke up, she says Anderson sent her a message on Instagram. It said, "Ignore time is over." 5 hours after sending that message, Maxwell Anderson met Sade Robinson when she walked into a bar looking for a job. Think about that timeline. On April 4th, Detective Donner got a search warrant for Anderson's house. She sent a team to watch him. When they realized he was heading home, they moved fast. They took him into custody. The officers said they could feel him shaking. Anderson asked for a lawyer and was never interrogated. Inside the house, no bloody crime scene, no sign of a cleanup. That meant that dismemberment didn't happen there. It happened at the beach. They found knives, 51 in the kitchen alone, but none were the weapon. There was no direct physical evidence tying him to Sade's murder inside that home. Every lead felt like a dead end. But then they got his phone. Deleted photos, recovered from Maxwell Anderson's device. Photos he took inside his own house. Sade is face down, her arm is over her face. You can see the hand of a white male grasping her right breast, the same breast that would later be cut from her body. Nobody knows if she was alive or dead in those photos. Detective Donner's assumption, and the assumption of everyone who saw them, is that she was dead. He took pictures. He posed her. Then he deleted them. That's not panic. That's not an accident. That's someone who knew exactly what they were doing.
Now the cops already know the timeline. They have Life 360, they have CCTV from 5 different locations, they have phone records, they have the burned car, they have the DNA on his jacket, they have the deleted photos, they have the ex-girlfriend who drove them straight to his secret beach. But Maxwell Anderson never sat down for an interrogation. He lawyered up immediately. There is no confession, no interview, no phase where the detectives walk him through the evidence and watch his story collapse. All they have is what he told the pre-sentence investigator after his conviction. And here's what he said. He said they met for food and drinks and went back to his apartment. That's it. He offered no other information about what happened that night. He said he regretted not walking Sade to her vehicle when she left his apartment. He claimed she was abducted by an unknown assailant. His words, either from the alley or from my backyard. When asked how he accounted for being in the area where her car was set on fire, he said he was set up. He said he was in the area to buy marijuana. He wouldn't say when or how he arranged the purchase. He said, I plead the fifth. The detectives weren't buying it. The judge wasn't buying it. And the jury sure as hell wasn't buying it. The trial lasted roughly 2 weeks. Prosecutor Ian Vance Curzon walked the jury through everything. The Life 360 data, the CCTV trail, the burned car, the DNA, the deleted photos, the secret beach. The defense attorney, Anthony Cotton, argued that being the last known person with Sade proved nothing. He said the video showed the car, but never definitively proved Anderson was driving it. He pointed out there was no known cause of death because her head was never recovered. He asked the jury, why would Anderson do something like this? No motive, no reason. He also brought up a safe found in Sade's apartment containing marijuana and what appeared to be methamphetamine pills. The pills were never sent to the crime lab for conclusive testing. The defense seemed to suggest the murder might have been connected to drugs. The jurors weren't having it. One juror said of the drug angle, they're just trying to distract us. Another pointed out there was never any evidence Sade was a substance abuser. Toxicology on her remains came back clean. The only substance found in her system was caffeine. But it was those deleted photos that sealed it. Juror after juror said the same thing. That was the moment. Seeing Sade face down, a man's hand on her body, treated like an object. One juror said she felt like she'd lived the last hours of Sade's life with her. They went back to the jury room, and there were hugs and silence and people who were physically sick. The defense rested without calling a single witness. Anderson chose not to testify. Deliberation took less than an hour after they reconvened the next morning. Guilty, first-degree intentional homicide. Guilty, mutilating a corpse. Guilty, arson. At sentencing, Sade's family spoke. Her 17-year-old sister, Adriana, stood in front of the courtroom and said something that needs to be heard. She said, he made it to where I cannot meet any person without the fear that they're going to harm or kill me, because all my sister did was meet someone, and as a result, he ended her life. She was 16 when Sade disappeared. She had to communicate with law enforcement, take care of her family, physically pick her mother up off the ground. She quit the job Sade had gotten her because she couldn't be surrounded by all the people Sade had touched. She missed school to search for her sister's body. Sade's father, Carlos Robinson, said this, "To lose your child in this manner is unthinkable. He deserves the punishment that he gave to my daughter.
Everything that he did should be done to him. To me, that's justice. Sade's mother, Sheena Scarborough, asked Anderson directly to tell them where Sade's head is. She said, "You've already done the worst. You can at least give us that much." He didn't. When the judge gave Anderson his chance to speak, he said, "From the bottom of my heart, my deepest and most sincere condolences go out to Sade's family. That being said, Your Honor, I did not commit these crimes." Still, after everything, he said he didn't do it. He said he plans to appeal. He said he hopes further investigations prove his innocence. The judge, Judge Laura Crivello, didn't let that stand. She read his own words back to him. His claim that Sade was abducted from his backyard. His claim that he was set up. His claim that he was buying marijuana near the burning car. She called his version of events inconsistent with reality at every point. She noted his criminal history, not the convictions themselves, which were all misdemeanors, but the facts underneath them. Punching his mother's fiancé so the man broke 3 or 4 ribs, smashing phones when people tried to call police, telling probation he didn't need anger management, testing positive for alcohol, and claiming he accidentally grabbed someone else's Red Bull that had liquor in it.
Her conclusion? This is a man who does what he wants, when he wants, and follows his own rules. Life imprisonment, no eligibility for extended supervision, no parole, ever. Count 2, mutilating a corpse, 7.5 years initial confinement plus 5 years extended supervision, consecutive. Count 3, arson, 18 months initial confinement plus 2 years extended supervision, consecutive. A 4th count, hiding a corpse, was dismissed under a Wisconsin statute that prevents conviction on both mutilating and hiding a corpse from the same incident. Same logic as OWI and PAC. You can be tried for both, found guilty of both, but only convicted on one. Before she closed, Judge Crivello read a letter from a stranger, someone who signed it Stargazer. It said, in part, "You didn't just kill her. You carved her and discarded her like garbage, and you tried to erase her body from this earth piece by piece. But here's what you couldn't take. You could not mutilate her soul." Sade Robinson's mural sits beneath her beloved Pizza Shuttle. Her mother launched a program to help crime victims. She partnered with a Wisconsin state representative to create a task force examining violence against black women and girls. In May 2024, Adriana, dressed in a pink cap and gown, Sade's favorite color, walked across the stage and accepted her sister's degree at what should have been Sade's graduation. She was 19 years old. She worked 2 jobs. She was a full-time student. She bought her own car. She paid her own rent. She said yes to a date with someone she just met. That's not a mistake. That's being 19. Detective Donner has been back to Warnimont Park dozens of times. She's still looking. Sade's family installed a memorial bench at the park, right in the area where the investigation began. Her head has never been recovered. When asked if she thinks they'll ever find it, Donner said, "I think so, when the lake is ready to give her back." If this case stays with you, if it sits wrong, type "saw the file" in the comments. And if you're new here and you want to follow cases like these as we open them, just open the next file with us. That's it. Because the last record is never the full truth.